Once midnight arrives, heads start nodding. This is a fatal clue. It plunges me into infinite fear again. Damn it, it's almost 12 o'clock now. Sure enough, before I could react, ghostly apparitions began to appear one after another on the seats beside me. As time gets closer to midnight, these apparitions become more and more distinct. Seeing so many ghost shadows, I couldn't help but feel a bit discouraged. I hesitated and decided to leave the classroom. It seems like this quest full of ghosts won't be completed. However, I hadn't taken 2 steps when I heard someone behind me calling my name. The sound of Ryan Chen almost made tears run down my face. Damn it! Today is so bizarre. I turned around, hoping not to come face to face. At midnight, inside an empty classroom with no one around, you suddenly hear someone calling your name from behind. What kind of experience is this? It is still pouring rain heavily at this moment, with lightning and thunder. My heart has turned cold. I muster up the courage to look back. I only see a black figure wearing a cloak. It is standing still, staring at me. The next second, the black figure took off the cloak and revealed their true identity. The person who came turned out to be Leo Fan and Fan. They said they specifically came to rescue me. I believe you. Ghost, who the hell comes to this ghost place in the middle of the night to rescue me? But I still showed a look of doubt on my face. Aunt Fan took out a painting upon seeing the situation and explained that this was painted by Leo Fan today. I think this little black figure is you. I was worried, so I came to take a look. I didn't expect to actually find you here. I stared at the painting in her hand and asked in confusion, is there any difference between the black figure and the red figure? The red figure represents ghost. It's the first time I've seen the black one. It might represent a person. Listening to Aunt Fan's analysis, I also confirmed my earlier speculation. She really knew about Leo Fan's secret a long time ago. Seeing me remain silent, Aunt Fan began to explain again. I know you may not believe it, but actually, before Leo Fan's parents had the accident, I knew that Leo Fan could see ghosts. At that time, my husband and child had just passed away in a car accident. Every time I cry while looking at photos, Leo Fan would show me his drawings. Inside the black house, there are 2 red little figures painted. Leo Fan said those 2 figures are his younger brother and sister. I pretend not to believe it. Children's drawings don't mean anything. Aunt Fan helplessly reached into her clothes. She then pulled out a painting. In this picture, it's the well that has claimed many lives. The ghost inside the well is about to break free. And you have been targeted by them. If you don't leave now, something bad will happen. Believe me. Hurry, leave now. The last sentence clearly has a heavier tone. I remained silent for a moment. I also very cooperatively indicated that this place is indeed quite creepy. I don't plan to stay any longer. I then called Aunt Fan to go home together. It's good to have a companion on the way. Unexpectedly, this woman is ruthless. She took out a dagger directly and wanted to punish me on the spot. However, she didn't expect that I was already prepared. I raised a big hammer in response. Fear the young and strong, especially when I am using a big hammer. I sent this creep flying with just one swing. I knew you were up to no good when I was at your place. This forged painting of yours is too low quality. If my guess is right, you are the one who killed Leo Fan's parents. Aunt Fan seems extremely embarrassed at this moment due to the sudden turn of events. However, she insists that she did not kill anyone and blames it all on Leo Fan's father. I was secretly delighted to hear this. This woman indeed knows the truth. She is shifting all the blame to someone who has already passed away. Do you think this will clear her name? As expected, after hearing my questioning, Aunt Fan confessed directly. She admitted that Leo Fan's father had a particular fetish. As a result, he drove a girl crazy at this school. This later led to the girl feeling unbearable humiliation and committing suicide. Since then, the father became paranoid. He started being suspicious, always saying that someone was trying to kill him. Gradually, his wife couldn't bear it anymore. She wanted to divorce Leo Fan's father, and if he didn't agree, she would expose his fetishes and crimes to the public. Leo Fan's father was worried about ruining his reputation. So, on that rainy night, he first hid Leo Fan in the office. Then he lied to his wife and went out together to search. When Leo Fan's aunt found them, she happened to see him cleaning the school well. She walked closer to take a look. She unexpectedly saw Leo Fan's mother's body stuck at the mouth of the well. And at this point, it's clear that her father has gone mad. He saw the ugly truth being uncovered. He even directly threatened his own younger sister, claiming that either she helps him hide everything, or they will be silenced together. This teacher is a pervert. He is obsessed with voyeurism in the women's restroom every day. This ultimately led to the female student feeling disgraced and choosing to end her own life. As the saying goes, the truth will eventually come to light. Soon the wife also discovered her husband's perverse habits. In order to prevent his misconduct from being exposed, the man actually chose to push his wife into a deep well with his own hands. And this scene happened to be witnessed by his sister. However, this sister is not a good person either. She knows her brother will not let her off easily. So she considerately sent her brother to see his sister-in-law. The reason why she acted so decisively is even more important. After her brother disappeared, she became the only close relative to her eldest nephew. Due to a car accident not long ago, her husband and children all passed away. So, she naturally treated her nephew, who could see the souls of her children, as her own. After listening to her statement, I felt my scalp tingling. I have encountered even the most ferocious ghosts before, but such cruel siblings, it's my first time. Unable to control myself, I sternly questioned her. Have you ever considered your nephew Leo Fan's feelings when you do this? Living with the murderer of his own father all along. No wonder he developed bipolar disorder at a young age. And all of this is caused by you. The situation has not settled down yet. Just as I was teaching Aunt Fan, the lights suddenly came on in the classroom behind me. I caught a glimpse from the corner of my eye and saw Ghost teacher lecturing at the podium. The students below were listening attentively. Aunt Fan also noticed the changes in the classroom at this time. She couldn't help but show a frightened expression. Just as she was about to speak, I immediately stopped her. I didn't give her time to react. I decisively grabbed her and stepped on the accelerator. We didn't stop until we were far away from that mysterious classroom. Aunt Fan looked back towards the direction of the classroom, still feeling lingering fear. From the moment I entered the school until now, they have never attacked me actively. Perhaps what lingers in that classroom is not a malevolent spirit. Maybe they are still protecting this school. The scene changed. I walked out of the teaching building with Aunt Fan. The pouring rain continued to fall, as if weeping for the stories of this school. Captain Lee also arrived with people at this time. That's right, I called them to come for help. After seeing me, Old Lee couldn't help but comment, "Ryan Chen, you're something else. 3 emergency responses in a week, all because of one person. You've really broken a record." I could only awkwardly laugh upon hearing this. Then I immediately explained the situation to Captain Lee. There's another suspect in the dried-up well in the back mountains. You can ask this lady for the specific location. After understanding the situation, Captain Lee immediately arranged for his subordinates to seal off the scene. The forensic pathologist quickly arrived at the dry well and successfully extracted 2 sets of skeletal remains. With this, the Twilight High School quest also came to a close. The next day at noon, I just woke up after being tired all night. I am about to go grab a meal. The phone notification just rang. I didn't expect that just going through the motions would count as experiencing a side quest. The new scene that was unlocked is indeed a bit confusing. I am very satisfied. Don't give away things for free. Setting aside the thought of having a meal, I rushed eagerly towards the new scene. So far, Adventure House has 3 thrilling scenes. The newly unlocked Twilight High School is a branch of the 4-star scene. The area is equivalent to twice the size of a typical 2-star scene. Arriving at the scene, it is indeed very spacious. Dormitories, bathrooms, enclosed classrooms, and other venues are all included. Just some slight layout changes. I soon discovered other differences. I saw only a closed classroom. Surprisingly, there were several sets of school uniforms. Could it be that new ghost spirits can be captured here as well? Boss, you finally came. Some guys came looking for trouble. Early in the morning, I heard LSU's complaints when they arrived at Adventure House. I looked over when I heard the sound. I saw a short winter melon with 2 hooligans looking at me maliciously. They even threatened that my Adventure House is also a counterfeit. Turns out they're competitors, huh? If they want to fight, they should just say so. You don't need to play these fancy dirty tricks. Seeing me being so straightforward, the 2 hooligans also don't intend to keep pretending. So today, let us 2 brothers take a look. Boss Chen, how scary is your so-called Jojiang's most terrifying ghost house? I should say that my luck is really good. Every time I upgrade the scene, I can encounter the white mice that come to me on their own. Since you 2 are so righteous, please come in. Before we start, don't forget to sign the liability waiver. After all, I won't be responsible if you really scare yourself later. Entering the room, the 2 hooligans remained calm and composed. They even joked that LSU is really pretty. It was not until I opened the trapdoor to the basement that they realized where they were headed. The 2 of them only realized that something was amiss. They were very puzzled as to why the scene was underground. However, these 2 hooligans do have a few tricks up their sleeves. Just hesitating for a moment, they both successively walked into the basement. Upon arriving at the scene, Chong Mao immediately turned on the camera, ready to record the process of raiding the place. After they go out, they directly upload it online. This way, after tourists watch the strategy, most will only come once. I have to say, this creep is really cunning. Unfortunately, what he doesn't know is that the ghost house they are challenging this time does have ghosts in it. As the hooligans continued deeper into the place, the 2 soon arrived at a closed classroom. Looking at the school uniforms on the desks, Chong Mao was sure that there must be something mysterious inside. Just as the 2 were about to go in and find out, the door of the classroom suddenly opened. Despite the lack of airflow in the enclosed space, not only did the door open by itself, but it also kept creaking and swinging back and forth. Looking at this eerie scene, Chong Mao couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat. However, he quickly regained his composure and shouted, "This must be a trick! Someone is playing tricks on us!" But the big guy behind him was obviously intimidated. "How about this? I'll wait for you at the door." "That won't do. Don't forget why we're here. You got scared by a little commotion. What kind of fake are you putting on?" Chong Mao also felt angry at his cowardly appearance. He left a sentence behind and walked into the classroom on his own. He picked up the school uniform on the table and examined it carefully. He didn't see any trick for a long time. He casually threw the school uniform again. But the big guy was not so calm. He screamed again. The sound wave was so loud that nearly scared Chong Mao to death. He was about to turn around and scold a few words. But he saw the big guy turn pale, trembling, and pointing in one direction. "I just saw it there. There's someone in this table. She just gave me a stare with her eyes." Shocking words. Looking at the neatly placed school uniform on the table, Chong Mao also began to panic. "Brother Zhu, did you pick up this school uniform and put it on the table? What do you mean by picking it up?" Upon hearing his companion's denial, Chong Mao instantly felt a chill down his spine and couldn't help but gulp down some saliva. He turned around and quickly strode towards the outside of the house. Still trying to act tough, he said he would go check out the other rooms first. As they walked out of the classroom, the school uniform on the desk began to move in a strange and eerie manner. The next second, The sound of a table falling to the ground reached the ears of the two people outside the room. The two brothers in the corridor couldn't help but nervously turn around after hearing the noise. Immediately, the two of them saw a scene that would be unforgettable for the rest of their lives. They saw a school uniform flying out of the broken window. The school uniform stood in the air swaying in the wind. Upon closer inspection, one could vaguely see a faint figure inside the uniform, with a pair of eyes that seemed like dark orchids. At that moment, those eyes were fixed firmly on the two troublesome brothers. These two hooligans had caught the attention of the ghost, simply because they had not subscribed while watching the video. The hooligans were chased by the female ghost in a school uniform for 3 blocks in a sorry state, panicking and choosing paths haphazardly. They finally found a room with an open door. Chong Mao then suggested that they should go in and hide for a while. The two of them entered the room and tightly closed the door. The two brothers finally relaxed. They were exhausted both physically and mentally, and didn't want to move around anymore. After a while, the long-haired person, who had regained consciousness, observed the environment in the room. Suddenly, they realized that it seemed to be a dormitory. Muscle Brother also noticed the paper and pens placed on the table at this time. He fixed his eyes on the content on it. Isn't this the pen ghost game? He picked up the pen roughed up with tape, couldn't help but complain. Is this pen too weird? The fuzzy recalling the instructions I gave before entering the ghost house. This adventure includes 4 small scenes. You must experience all of them in order to get clues to the exit. In that case, let's give this pen ghost game a try. I've seen videos before, and it seems quite simple. After saying that, Muscle Brother began to chant the summoning spell. Abracadabra energy. Bukalaka, if you can hear us. Draw a circle on the paper. As the spell ended, the two suddenly found that the pen in their hands began to act uncontrollably. Staring at each other, both thought that the other was up to something. The next second, the fountain pen in hand automatically started drawing circles on the paper. Feeling the eeriness firsthand, the two brothers began sweating profusely. Could it be true that the pen ghost has arrived? It shouldn't be. This game is just using the environment and rules for psychological suggestion. There's no such thing as ghosts and creatures in this world. While Jean Mao said so, his micro-expressions revealed his inner panic. As the circle on the paper closed, both of them suddenly felt a chill creeping in, just as Muscles was about to ask another question. The pen in their hand unexpectedly waved out of control again. Before long, 3 blood-red characters appeared on the paper. The two people stared at the newly appeared blood characters. Chong Mao was already on the verge of collapse. His widened eyes were bloodshot, and he muttered madly, "This must be a trap set by the boss. It's impossible for there to be ghosts and creatures in this world. Impossible." But when he looked up again, he saw Muscle Brother with rolled-back eyes and mouth wide open. This appearance was clearly a result of extreme fear. Brother Zhu, what's wrong with you? Say something." Hearing his companion's call, Muscle Brother's body suddenly trembled violently. With great difficulty, he managed to utter a few words. "Behind you, there's someone." Feeling a chilling sensation coming from behind, Long Mao couldn't help but shiver. He had already realized that as long as he turned around, he would definitely see a scene that would be unforgettable for the rest of his life. These two men were idiots. They were full, and had to come to my haunted house to stir up trouble. No, they were chased by Ghost Apparel's school uniform 3 blocks away on their front foot. Now they have encountered Pen Go's sister, who specializes in treating body odor. The muscle guy who reacted quickly got up and ran outside. He completely ignored the good buddy still sitting on the chair. Seeing his bro leading him behind, Long Mao also panicked. He was about to get up and leave, but his hand seemed to be grasped by something, unable to move. Immediately, the pen in his hand began to wave around again uncontrollably. He watched helplessly as the blood-red characters on the paper increased. Chong Mao fell into madness completely. He clenched his teeth and gripped his hands tightly. He tried to break free with brute force from this strange enchanted pen. Unexpectedly, with his struggles, the pen in his hand did come to a stop. At this moment, the room was so quiet that one could hear a pin drop, only the sound of his heavy breathing echoing. He looked at the pen that almost scared him to pee. His heavy breathing became more intense again. What pen goes taboo? Still trying to scare me. Without waiting for him to continue his nonsense, he suddenly felt a strange sensation on his head. It seems like a woman's long hair is slowly moving. His eyeballs moved slightly, and long hairs instantly stood still. Beads of sweat the size of soybeans couldn't help but burst out. The next second, a terrifying ghost face suddenly appeared in front of his eyes, following a scream that sounded like a pig being slaughtered. Let's take a look at Changmao again. His eyes had rolled back, foaming at the mouth, screaming for his mother. And Pen Ghost's sister also stopped when things took a turn for the worse. She no longer paid any attention to Changmao, who had fainted, letting him fall freely to the ground. On the other side, I have already geared up and arrived at the sealed classroom. I was wondering why these two troublemakers hadn't screamed yet after being inside for so long. When I turned around, I saw Muscle Bro running and shouting for help, saying, "Brother, save me!" I said, "Big brother, you have strong muscles. How come you look even more disheveled than a girl?" Muscle Bro seemed to not have heard my words and continued to shout in fear, saying, "There's blood! There's a ghost!" Before I could continue asking about the situation, this guy raised his hands and slammed on the gas pedal, leaving in a cloud of smoke. Really, he came in so arrogantly. I haven't even taken action yet, and I'm scared like this. The muscle guy over here is still running wildly. He must not be an actor muttering in his mouth. "There's a ghost! There's really a ghost in this room." Running, and arrived in front of a women's restroom. He didn't even see the sign clearly and rushed into a stall. He quickly closed the door. This guy is really unlucky. He always runs into trouble. He entered the fifth stall full of excitement. At this moment, he still didn't realize the seriousness of the situation. He picked up the phone and called A Winter for help loudly. However, the short winter melon on the other end of the phone mistakenly thought that they were being bullied by the employees of Ghost House. He immediately prepared to come in person to help the two guys. Muscle Brother hurriedly continued to explain upon hearing this. "No, Brother Yuan really has a ghost." The voice abruptly stopped halfway through saying it in this room. He looked at the shoes suddenly appearing outside the door. The muscular brother once again fell into infinite fear. The 1.8-meter tall muscular hunk was scared to the point of peeing his pants. Because he had just seen the pen ghost, given his bad habit of watching videos but not subscribing, the pen ghost's sister decided to reward him with a look at her unparalleled beauty. She even said she would reward him every night. The strong man was probably too excited upon hearing this. He fainted directly. The long-haired man accompanying him into the ghost house was also very fortunate. Pen Ghost's sister not only showed him her beauty. After he was scared unconscious, she got on his body. When I found him, half of his body was already leaning into the well. It seemed like he was about to go down to find something. After I sent them out of Adventure House, Short Winter Melon thought I had tampered with it inside. He asked me to give an explanation in front of other tourists today. I just happened to want to know the whole process of the incident. So I suggested that we bring along a few tourists to watch the surveillance footage together. As the surveillance cameras couldn't capture the school uniform female ghost and pen ghost, the actions of the two brothers seemed very strange to outsiders. First, he murmured to himself while holding a pen. Then, Muscle Brother screamed and ran away without any warning. The two tourists watching thought they were mentally ill. As the progress went on, the long-haired figure that reappeared on the screen looked drunk, moving unsteadily with its head down, muttering to itself from time to time. Short Winter Melon was obviously dissatisfied. He shouted that the camera should be zoomed in closer. After the camera zoomed in, it was only when Changmao suddenly stopped as he passed by the closed classroom. At the same time, he muttered to himself, "I treat this classroom as my home, but I have a reason to leave. I have to talk to Xi and Wang. Once I handle this matter, I will definitely come back." Seeing this, others still looked puzzled. But I have a rough guess. This guy is probably possessed by the pen ghost. As Changmao entered the classroom, his body suddenly started to twist crazily, as if he was trying his best to break free from something grabbing onto him. Then the scene came to an abrupt halt. In order to verify the speculation in my mind, I immediately clicked on another surveillance video. At this point, the scene had already switched to in front of the well, and Changmao still maintained that soulless look. I could understand Ryan Chen's decision. If it were me, I would do the same. After all, Xi and Wang was once her best friend. Give her another chance. After saying this sentence, Changmao knelt down and then slowly slipped into the well. Seeing this, Ai Donghua still believed that I had set a trap until the scene appeared where I helped Changmao, at which point Ai Donghua had nothing more to say. The tourists behind also spoke frankly. "This is the ghost house version of the farmer and the viper. The lucky vengeful ghost is favoring you. Congratulations on triggering the Twilight High School hidden quest. Pen Ghost's wish. Quest requirement: find Pen Ghost's best friend from before his death. Quest reward: increase Pen Ghost Ryan Chen's favorability significantly. There is a chance to hire him as an employee." Looking at the new notifications on my phone, I am feeling happy at this moment. This time not only in front of the tourists. I have slapped Qing Guang Management Agency's face. I also unexpectedly unlocked a new quest. As long as it is successfully completed, I might be able to recruit Pen Ghost's sister under my command. What exactly happened to cause these two beautiful and youthful girls to appear before me? A ghostly spirit of nostalgia has become one of them. A person who has become intermittently manic and depressive. To complete the quest entrusted by Pen Ghost, I had to contact Captain Lee to ask him to help investigate the situation regarding Ryan Chen. According to the case file, Ryan Chen is the person who hanged herself in the dormitory 3 years ago. At that time, her suicide reason was not confirmed. However, shortly before the incident happened to her, at Twilight High School, there was also a major incident. A bus carrying a class on a field trip got into an accident. The accident resulted in the loss of all passengers on the bus, including the driver and students. In addition, there happened to be a student who didn't go on the trip that day. She narrowly escaped the disaster. The person's name is Xi and Wang. After listening to Captain Lee's statement, my mind was filled with countless thoughts in an instant. 24 sets of school uniforms are enclosed in the classroom. Maybe it represents the 24 regrets of that accident. Pen Ghost said he wants to go out. In fact, he wants to go find the only survivor, Xi and Wang. Captain Lee, can you help me with something else? I want to meet Xi and Wang. City People's Hospital. Captain Lee took me to the ward where Xi and Wang is located. It may be related to Ryan Chen's matter. Or it could be because of the car accident. She doesn't seem to be quite normal now. Xi and Wang, your friend has been wanting to talk to you. I brought her here. Upon hearing my words, Xi and Wang seemed to be suddenly stimulated. His body trembled slightly, and he uttered a few stuttered words. Ignoring her changes, I directly took out a pen and paper and started reciting the summoning spell for the Pen Ghost. With the recitation of the spell, Xi and Wang's emotions began to escalate. She seemed to be very afraid of the aura emanating from the pen. She huddled up, clutching her head with both hands. Captain Lee immediately moved forward to intervene upon seeing this. I calmly replied, "I am helping her untie the knot in her heart." "Captain Lee, please give me 3 minutes. Just 3 minutes." As the words fell silent, the fountain pen began to move automatically on the paper. Soon wrote out a large passage of text. Xian Wang's body stopped shaking as soon as he saw the content on the paper. Tears welled up in his eyes. You haven't done anything wrong. It's just the despicable selfish me. A prank by Xiao Xiao. Xian Wang, I'm sorry. I hope you won't be influenced by me anymore. Work towards a happy life. In the next second, Pen Ghost seemed to have finished writing everything he wanted to say, and the pen suddenly lost control and fell down. Looking at Xian Wang now, he was sobbing uncontrollably. Both hands propped on the paper, swallowing hard, saying something. After half rations, I don't want to be this painful anymore. Help me, help. The last sentence hasn't been finished. Xian Wang then fell asleep with his hands under his head. I couldn't help but heave a sigh of relief when I saw this. It's good that he fell asleep. It seems to have worked. I gently stroked Xian Wang's head. Sleep now. It's all in the past. At the same time, a doctor suddenly rushed into the ward. What have you done to the patient? He fell asleep after hearing Xian Wang. The doctor couldn't help but show a surprised expression. How is that possible? She is a severe depression patient. How could she fall asleep without medication? I exchanged a simple glance with Captain Lee and wrapped up the work. Pen Ghost's wish has been fulfilled. Activate the hidden quest for the next stage. Create a doll to represent each of the 24 remaining regrets. The lucky vengeful ghost is watching over. Congratulations on successfully unlocking a new member in the ghost house. Pen Ghost Ryan Chen. Since you have fulfilled Pen Ghost's wish, although she still doesn't want to see you, she is grateful to you. Pen Ghost has one chance each day to foresee the future, with a success rate of 50% as long as it is within her abilities. The screams of tourists excite Pen Ghost. Feeding on the fear of tourists can make Pen Ghost even more powerful. If Pen Ghost remains in a low mood for a long time, she may leave you. After several days and nights, I finally managed to recruit Ryan Chen under my command. Although she doesn't seem very reliable, at least it's a good start. Next, I just need to create a puppet to hold the regrets. Attach the 24 disappointments, and it will be ready. Fortunately, I have the skill. Mortuary makeup shouldn't be too difficult to complete. However, accidents always come unexpectedly. Just as I entered the bathroom, suddenly, I heard a strange noise behind me. I saw that the mirror that had been covered with a black cloth before was now inexplicably oozing blood. I lifted the black cloth covering. Before my eyes was a door standing in the midst, and I could clearly see a patch of blood red inside the door. Hasn't Mirror Ghost already been eaten by Isla Zhang? Why is the countdown still continuing? Wait, the door in the mirror is open. It's not even the door of this bathroom. The next second, another surprise. Only the inside of the door in the mirror is seen. Suddenly, a strange energy swooped out. And this energy is constantly overflowing. At the same time, it is accompanied by eerie cackling sounds. Damn it, it took me a while to react. I hastily grabbed a black cloth to cover it, just to be safe. This time, I deliberately reinforced it with wooden boards. I breathed a sigh of relief only after completely covering the mirror tightly. What the hell was that thing that just popped out? This countdown really makes people uncomfortable. It's like after it reaches 0, some kind of monster will come out from it. Do not wait for me to continue thinking. LSU's call came from outside the toilet. Boss, there is a person surnamed Gao outside looking for you. Also brought along a strange person. Arriving at the door, it is indeed Professor Gao, the father of Chloe Gao. Standing behind him is a dejected-looking man. After some brief pleasantries, Professor Gao stated his purpose. This is Nan Nen, a medical school student, who has symptoms similar to those of Leo Fan before. He came specifically to inquire about some information. Note, special personnel have appeared. This man can actually trigger phone notifications. Can he also see Ghost and Soul? Professor Gao continued to introduce the man's situation. Nan Min was originally a confident and cheerful person. However, recently he has been dreaming about strange things, which has made him extremely irritable and bad-tempered. Over time, he became like this. When I asked him, Nan Min hesitantly revealed the content of his dreams. Every time in my dreams, I am washing my hair, and I can clearly sense that there is something watching me. As soon as I close my eyes, that thing will rush over and choke my neck. I can only wake up when I'm close to suffocating.